Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Cailee and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, Steve talks about December 12th. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Cailee, along with our special guests, Luke Otero, Cailee Baker, and Tim Swyatt.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
Hey. So, yeah, there we go.
There's Cailee. We love her.
Cailee may not be on it by the end of the show.
I'm just going to turn myself on mute for the rest of the show and just input when I can.
Yeah, I might put her on mute. She won't know, and then we'll just...
That's totally fine, Steve. You do what you got to do. I understand.
So, we're going to be talking about 12/12. I promote 12/12. I'm actually, as you listen to this, I'm at the shop right now. So I'm getting the shop at 6 o'clock on 12/12, and I'll be there all the way to 6 to 6. Put it in 12 hours. Then I got to go do an event that night. Otherwise, I'd stay there even later. But that's the plan on 12/12. 12-hour shift on 12/12. How about that? All right. Yes. And but we'll talk about why doing that and all that kind of stuff. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, McNew said there's something she want to talk about. What is that, McNew?
Okay, so I wanted to talk about really irrational fears. So I want to preface with everybody knows I'm very afraid of snakes, and that's very irrational and insane the way that I am afraid of them. But I have another fear, which is hitting a deer, a big deer, and the antlers coming through my windshield and stabbing me. That's really a fear that's in my head. And I almost hit a deer today. I ran into town after work today. And I almost hit a deer on my way back. It was coming through a fucking roundabout, which they shouldn't be in town like that, but it's hunting.
They shouldn't be allowed to go through roundabouts. They
can't turn They should have a crossing somewhere else in the town.
Yeah, they need to go by the signs that say deer crossing.
I almost hit one, but it backed up like we missed each other. But like I looked at it and it looked at me and it was like, bitch, back up. So we barely missed a deer. But I have this fear of one like stabbing me through the chest if it comes through my shield. So I want to know, what is your really visual, irrational fear?
I don't think I have anything like. I think I'm gonna. There's a lot going on here. First of all, you have to hit the deer. So have you hit a deer in your life?
No, I haven't. But this is
that's step one. So
I live in I don't live in a rural area, but like I live next to a rural area where I know it's hunting season.
McNew, I live in a rural area and I don't worry about this shit.
Yeah, and deer aren't necessarily rural. Isn't even necessarily bad. Sometimes it's suburbs where they don't have enough natural foliage to hide out.
They gotta cross what they can. Yeah.
Suburbs can be even worse, McNew.
Since I've been driving, I've known somebody who has hit a deer. So I fear this.
Did the horns come through the windshield?
Me through the chest if I hit one. And it's been this thing in my head. Okay.
I'm 54 years old, and I've heard of plenty of people that I know that have hit deer. You see things on the news and stuff like that. Never one time, out of all the deer accidents that I've heard of, never one time has someone hit the deer has flown through the windshield, stabbed someone in the chest specifically, not even in the neck or anything like that.
Hey, listen, I know as a former social worker before I was in the bourbon industry and it was a distillery director of Leatherwood Distillery. I know that it can be quite traumatizing. But also, sometimes people like to think the worst of their outcomes, like they can have an insurance plan to maybe hit a deer once in their lifetime, but think that they're going to hit a deer every week that they pass by somebody. So, I don't know. I feel like it can be hit or miss whether you think that you're going to get hit by a deer, and you could just think the worst of yourself. You can think of the worst of your situation.
I know how irrational this is, but my question was, what is your irrational fear? Like, tell me something more ridiculous about yourself.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
we're going to say Cailee's turn counts as what she just said. So fair use. We have to give other people the opportunity to talk on the show. So Cailee, otherwise we could get sued.
And the fact that Green Beret might kill me.
All right. Okay. So
that's fair.
Might kill her.
I work with a lot of Green Berets. I'm terrified that one might kill me one day. So that's just a general fear.
That's a general fear. Okay. Luke.
Not irrational, but general.
Okay. Yeah. Luke, do you have something that you know is an irrational fear, and do you want to outline it on the show?
This small talk has taken me to a place I've never ever thought about. So Stephanie, thank you for that.
Right. You're welcome. Happy nightmares.
Second of all, I do not.
No.
Honestly, I don't.
No,
I'm the senior statesman of this panel, and
I don't have anything like this either.
No,
I'm not worried.
You're all fucking nuts.
Yeah.
No, every time I see a deer on the side of the road, I'm like, this is how I die. Like, it is insane.
Well, I was listening to your story about the roundabout. I said, Stephanie would have to be going extremely fast, and that deer has to be making that turn so fast.
Right.
To actually do something, yeah.
Okay, but it threw me off because it shouldn't have been there. Like, if I'm driving through the country and one is in a field, that makes sense to me. If one is out by our pond, that makes sense to me.
Just to come at you from a woman in the late 20s, early 30s era. We worry about this shit all the time. I don't know if y'all realize, but like, I can see some shit on the side of the road and worry that it's going to end my life today. Like, that's the type of shit that somebody our age goes through. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else can resonate with that.
That's just a trash bag on the side of the road. Is it going to jump up and open my door?
A trash bag? Yeah. Well, sometimes they do.
There's a puppy in there that's been abandoned.
I passed by a black and white cat on the side of my rural road on the way to work the other day, and then I passed a dead skunk, and I thought it was the same thing. Like, these things can be misconstrued very easily.
I'm not sure.
So anyway, to finish my answers, right. No, McNew, I do not have that.
No, I'm the same way. I got nothing to contribute on that.
It's fine. Me and McNew will, just revel in the fact that we both worry about this shit all the time.
Okay. You should be.
Can Tim answer?
I know. Please, Tim.
Well, I'm trying to figure out
Tim,
the
just say
physics
2
on this
words
thing.
and let Cailee jump in.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to figure the physics on this thing. What deer got so run down by McNew and so pissed off that deer's going to run directly at her head on and leap to leap his antlers right through the windshield to come at her.
I've seen them hit somebody's hood and roll up over the top. I just feel like it's going to come directly through my windshield, right at me.
No, I understand that.
Happening.
Wow. Well,
100% relevant fear. I understand you, McNew, and I get you. Don't worry. We might be ridiculed by everybody else in this podcast, but I understand you.
Okay.
I know.
That is apparent. Yeah.
I'm just wondering where Luke's going to send the bill to for the therapy session he's got to have after this conversation. What's wrong with this world?
Right. What's wrong? Yeah.
So I'll give you this story that I don't know if this is an irrational. I guess it is an irrational fear because when I was a kid, one of my random feats of greatness was little Johnny. I can remember this kid's name was give me the bird across the street. I picked up one of these crab apples and heaved it at him, hit him right in the stones, and then dropped him.
You dropped him from across the street with a crab apple.
From across the street with a crab
apple. That's pretty intense of a throw.
It was a random feat of greatness. I think it was definitely peak performance, and it's been downhill ever since. I probably was like 8 or
Will
9.
never be talked about again. I similarly had an event like that.
Of course you did.
Will never be talked about again. But it was the greatest moment of my life when I took down some asshole.
Okay, with the crab apple.
So I took this kid down with the kid never come back to me, but I do have this. Every now and then, when I'm back at the parents' house, when I get out of the car, I look over my shoulder and turn around. And all of a sudden, maybe I'm going to see that kid there with a crab apple in his 40s, getting ready to throw it at me and hit me right in the stones.
Oh,
payback's a bitch.
If you haven't seen the new Christmas Story that has come out on HBO Max or whatever it's out on
streaming service we have to pay for.
Yeah, whatever streaming service you have to get, you should go watch the new Christmas Story. Christmas Story Christmas is what I think it's called. And it accurately displays what you feel towards a bully back in your
what you just described, Tim. What you just described, it played out in the movie. So
it really did.
That's must see TV this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to watch it as soon as possible. ASAP.
There you go.
All right.
Well, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's see. Luke, go first. Luke, what do you got, man?
All right. I'm going to end the night with one of our barrel picks from Willett. This one is a 9-year-old, and it was called The Land of Enchantment.
Ooh.
Not much left, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Nothing but base left in that one. Just okay. I'm gonna come after Luke. Kind of the same thing. I got a low bottle here. Wild Turkey 101 rye. Let's see if there's any life left. Here we go. I've tied Luke. Luke and I are tied with a very terrible thing. But let's see here. Can I do it? Oh yeah, no problem.
Oh, you can.
Last show pour there.
Show pour. Killed that bottle.
Just a hair below the top of the Glencairn.
Yep. All right. What do you got, Cailee?
Well, I would say I'm all about that base now. Treble, like Megan Trainor. But we're going to go with this 291 Colorado Rye Whiskey. Wow.
Oh,
that was
whiskey.
interesting right there. Anyways, here we go.
Oh,
jeez.
Wow.
That was so good.
Wow.
Explosive. All right.
That was another great. Hey, you just got to have me on the show more often because I buy so many new bottles. You got to make sure that I don't have any competition.
So listeners will be demanding that after these shows, I'm sure.
Steve, it's your fault. That's all I get at.
You've been answering a lot of emails about this.
Yes. Well, I'll be hearing from Wes Harden at least. So, yeah. All right. McNew, how about you?
I have some Russell's Rye.
Russell's Rye. Okay. Wow. That was legit terrible.
We got to talk, McNew. You gotta work on your skills there. Okay. Something's happening.
Tim, you're next.
Here,
all right, McNew, don't get triggered here, but I'm stepping it up here for 12-12 with a Deer Hammer single malt finish and port cask.
Okay.
Yes. Don't get triggered here, McNew. Okay.
Nothing. No, nothing.
Oh, another mic muffle.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, we got to get J-Bro and Cailee on the same show.
Yes, that would be fun.
Wait, who?
Just let those two battle it out, and we'll turn off the mics and just watch it go.
Who is it? Who's the other one?
J-Ro.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll take him on. Let's go.
That's a woman. Just a woman, but yeah.
Oh, I'll take her on. Let's go.
Cheers, gang.
Cheers,
everybody.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about 12-12 Day, why it's important to me, why I want to get you involved too. So we'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Mr. Bill. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily. I don't drink to that.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about the very special 12-12 day.
Yes, we are. So 12/12 is important to me because it's the worst day of my life was 12/12/12. So December 12th, 2012. My father passed away, and it was a sudden thing. I had lunch with him that day, and I was at work, and it was after work. I was in a late meeting, and that's how things went in the corporate world. You go to 5 o'clock, but if you leave at 5, God forbid you'd ever get up from your desk and act like you're going to leave at 5 o'clock. That's unheard of.
Can't do that.
You leave at 6 or later, or whenever the boss leaves. Basically, then it's all fine, But until the boss leaves, you don't leave the thing. And I was in a meeting with the boss, the big boss, the boss's boss, and my phone's ringing, and I send it to voicemail. So my phone just keeps ringing. I keep sending it to voicemail, and lo and behold, the meeting finally ends, and I hustle out of there. And as I'm leaving, hey, you got to get home, huh? Like running out of here, just the usual corporate BS. Why I hated that world, and it changed my life forever. I get the call. It was the warden that was calling me. Something's wrong with your dad. He's in an ambulance. He's going to the hospital. And then I flew to the hospital, and ultimately, he passed away. And again, the phone call doesn't really have anything to do with it. It wasn't like if I would have been able to take that call, I could have saved it. Nothing like that. So it really has nothing to do with that, or I wouldn't have got the chance to talk with him again or anything like that. He was revived on the scene, but he had a second heart attack in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and passed away from that. It's sad, but I decided on that day at that time, because I had prioritized work over family, I would never work on 12/12 again. And I never did. I had the corporate job for quite a few years after that. And I did not work on 12/12. I took the day off. And then I decided I would have a party at my house. It was during the week, and all my friends are working, and it's just a weird thing to have a party in the middle of the week and say it's an open house. Come by, and they're like, "Well, we're working." I'm like, "Come by before work. I'll get going at 6 o'clock." And they're like, "Well, that's early to be drinking." I'm like, "You don't have to drink. Come by and just talk to your friends and prioritize friendship over corporate at the time, or come by at lunch, or come by right after work." And that's what the idea of, now that I got the shop, I'm going to be at the shop. I'm going to be there from 6 to 6 today. I do have an evening event I have to leave for, but I'm going to get there at 6 in the morning, and I'll be there to 6 at night. Again, 12-hour shift on 12/12. It makes sense to me, actually. And this is the 10th anniversary of my dad's passing, so I'll be at the shop. Something I wish he could have lived to have seen. That would be so cool to have my dad there, but I'll have a photo of him at the shop that day. And come by, have a drink with me. Come by, prioritize friendship over work for, if nothing else, for a couple minutes during the day. Come by and have a toast and cheers to my dad. That would be pretty cool. Even if you haven't met him, you don't have to have met him. And that's the cool thing. You come by and we can talk about it. We don't have to talk about it. We can just talk, chat. But yeah, that's what's going to be going on 12/12. It's a day we're not normally open. We're not open on Mondays. We'll only be open on Monday, the week of Christmas. So this is something just special, a little bonus that I'll be there. And again, you don't have to buy anything. Just come by and hang out. That's what the day's about. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on 12/12. And that's why it's important to me. And I think it is important to remember family, remember friends, and prioritize the important things in life, because that definitely changed me. From that day forward, I ended up working at my corporate job. That was 2012, and I was at the corporate job until 2017. Yeah, something like that. 2017 is when I got booted. So yeah, I was at there 5 more years, but I was done on that date. My attitude, I was a bad attitude after that, and I didn't care. You know what? Getting up and leaving that meeting after that date, I wouldn't have cared, and they could have fired me because I didn't care anymore, and that ultimately would lead me to be let out of that place. And they tell you, yeah, you sign this paper and you're barred for life from this place. They're letting you go after we worked there 20 years. They say you can't come back here without an escort. It's like, wow. But yeah, it would be 5 years later, and yeah, I got laid off, and that's kind of an ugly thing if you think about it. I think they don't present it that way. There's like, you do have to sign this. You can't come back here anymore. And I get that. There's all kinds of problems. I don't want to make light of that. There's certainly problems with people coming back to their workplace after they've been let go, and they're just trying to avoid that. And that's not. But if you sit there and you think about that, and you think, God damn, I worked here 20 years, now I can't even come back to this place ever again. It's kind of crazy to me, but that's corporate America.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Well, that's just the other side of the fence that we don't want to think about too much. The best part is you sharing 12/12 with us, because when you told me about it 5 years ago, Steve, every 12/12, I can't be there with you.
Right.
But I take probably about from 3 o'clock on, I'm done with the day.
Right.
I'm having a nice pour and enjoying the memory of why I'm doing it, but more importantly, the friendships that I think Cailee and Stephanie and Tim talked about earlier on in another podcast is that going forward, because all our lives are extremely busy, and if we don't take those just little moments to reflect and say hello and thank you, or how are you doing, or whatever
group.
Yeah. And this one takes on a special meaning. Again, 10 years, but you know what is also a special meaning to it for me is that this is the first one we've done since the unfortunate, untimely passing of Danny. And again, it's the same type of thing. You see how quick this can all be gone. And McNew was with us. We were with Danny on the night that he passed away. And it's tough to take. He had no idea that this is going to happen. He's laughing and having fun with friends and doing the stuff that he loved, and just hanging out with us as a group and just chatting.
That was the last time.
Then hours later, and the next day, hours later, he passes away, and then the next day we find out, and it's like you can't even believe that. It's like, what? I was just with him. I was with him last night, but that shows how it's just gone.
I felt just as blindsided, and I hadn't seen him in a month. I haven't podcasted with him in a month.
Hours beforehand. So
it's outrageous.
It really just felt like he's going to wake up and say, "Hey, hi, hello."
Yeah, it was all a joke. No.
So
Steve, actually, I put in the mail. You should be getting in probably by Monday a tin of some New Mexico cookies.
Okay.
And for you to share with your,
I'll have them at the party. I'll bring them to the party and have them there.
They go awesome. Great with bourbon, by the way.
Okay.
So,
okay. We'll have
when
them.
When are you having a party out at your new place?
the 12th.
The 12th, yeah. So it's actually on the 12th. So it's and I'm going to do it every year on the 12th, and this is going to be a yearly tradition that on the 12th I'm going to do this celebration to my dad. It just works out this year where it's on a Monday, and again we're not normally open, which is fine. I love the idea of it's a little bonus day. It couldn't be any better, actually. The fact that people can come in and
People appreciate being able to come in on a day off and a day that you're not normally open to really appreciate what what you're there for,
Yeah.
what they're there for.
Yeah.
I've got a photo of my dad that I'll have there, and I just love it, and it's such a special thing too. It's a year before he died, we took a road trip out to we went out west, and it's a picture of him in front of Old Faithful, which is kind of cool. And he had seen Old Faithful as a
That's
young
awesome.
man. His father had passed away right after he graduated high school, and he had a sister that lived in California, and he drove out there to attend college. He went to his first 2 years of college. He went out to school in California lived with her and his sister, but he stopped on the way and at Old Faithful, and I was able to take him back there, and I got this awesome photo of him at Old Faithful, which is kind of cool. And then we did a bunch of westerns because my dad loved cowboys and westerns, and there's all this great history out there. You go to South Dakota, and there's the battle in Montana. You go to the Battle of Little Bighorn, and all this western history and stuff that he loved. We did all that, which is cool.
Yeah. So, Steve, I want to say I love that you took a very bad day and turned it into something positive.
Yes.
I think that is the key point here. So I love my dad.
I think anybody can appreciate that.
And the 18th this year, I'm like, nobody talked to me. I can't process that yet to make it a good thing. But I love that you can. And I think that's so impactful to so many more people than that that it is.
Yeah. And there's a special bond, McNew, because I know you've gone through it. And again, same thing, losing your father and stuff. And I get that. And that's what I didn't want to turn it in. It's the worst day of my life, 12/12, worst day. But I want to turn that around. And again, if you think celebrate your dad on his birthday. Well, you know what?
You can always do that.
I wasn't even around when he was born, but I was there. Unfortunately, part of when he died, and that's the day. And I just want to turn around to be a celebration of something. And
so turning the worst day of your life into a positive thing, I think that's so wonderful.
And to something so unique as well. There's nobody else out there doing that for their father. So I think that's really just respectable.
2020, you did a Zoom because nobody could get together.
Right.
I jumped in on that Zoom. You still had people over. People were still popping in to say cheers to your dad. Here's this, here's that. It was such a good bonding moment for so many people. And I love that you can do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the message is, cherish your friendships. That's the important thing, not work, your family. And again, because you never know, as you're around for your holiday dinner this year, somebody at that table might not be there next year, and you don't know who it is. That's the scary thing about all that. And so relish those times together, because that's what you have in the end, is really that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Steve, the only thing I'd add to this is the message you're sending from the corporate side, because the rule that you're breaking is your own this time. You're your own business owner, and you're normally closed on a Monday, and it's 12/12. You know what? Screw it. I'm going in. Right. I'm doing the opposite of what I normally do, just to change things up a little bit. And I think that's even a message. Now, you're absolutely right about the work side, the balance, all this stuff. Are you working to live, or are you living to work?
Right.
Yeah.
There's the question.
No meeting is that important. It's really not.
It's an emergency. Do your best. That's kind of the response, right? And when you're making your own rules here, you're the business owner, you're in control, and you're saying, nope, I'm open up the shop. I'm going in because I'm going to just do something different, just to shake it up a bit. And I think there's the message that I have there is respect the family, respect your friends, be there when you call, reach out to these people. If you haven't reached out to anybody in a long time, there's nothing wrong with sending a quick text saying, hey, how have you been? We haven't talked in whatever, how many years. You never know how much that one reach out means to somebody and what they're going through.
So I have a friend from high school. She lives in San Diego now. And maybe every 3 months we'll be like, hey girl, what's up? How are you? And that is a highlight of my week every time her and I talk to each other. Yeah. And it's never consistent, but it's it's nice to hear from people like that.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Cailee, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Come see me out at Leatherwood Distilleries, one of 2 locations. I'm at the Clarksville location a little more often, so come have a drink with me. But follow me on Instagram at Cailee Baker or at the Bourbon Bakers.
Okay. Tim, how about you?
You can find me on Instagram at SwyGuy2112.
Luke.
You can find me on Instagram at Santa Fe Boutique Wines and Luke Otero on LinkedIn or LinkedIn or
Okay.
LinkedIn.
Correct.
the new
LinkedIn.
company.
I like it. We're gonna trademark that shit.
Yeah. All right, McNew, how about you?
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. And please, come by the ABV Barrel Shop if you are in driving distance of this. Do that. If not, just take a few time today to reflect with family, have some fun. You know what? You're in a corporate job. Stay on the next, make lunch hour an hour and a half today. Just have fun, create memories with the people that you care about, and coworkers, friends, family, neighbors. It doesn't matter. Remember one another because that's the best thing to take out of life. People are important, not jobs, companies, all that kind of stuff. So there you go. There you go.
That extra 15-minute vape break. Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. Do anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network. And also, just remember your best people on 1212.
Absolutely.
Amen.
All right. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
See you later. Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.